Absolutely. I did burn my eyebrows once. I don't like to tell too many people this. I burned my eyelash.
Oh.
Which is,
that's frightening.
A little dangerous. It's a little dangerous.
Yeah, that's a little too close.
That pool was putting off a lot of heat just standing there.
You should have been in, I mean, down in there. Wasn't the heat reflecting off the wall?
I missed the fire.
It was like sauna.
Oh, my God.
Is it out now?
Yeah.
I'm pretty psyched. It went, I think it went over pretty well.
Very well.
I'm so sorry you missed it. I'm really so sorry you missed it. It was so cool. So cool.
Do you have video?
Yeah.
No.
It's going to be on the
Well, we have some
tonight.
Oh, it's just a few minute segment because he showed up also at the very end. I mean, he caught one piece, right?
Right.
But he got
But the fire was out. Was put out by when?
Oh,
it's still burning out. It's still smoldering.
The coals.
Okay. I'm gonna go out and shoot some footage of it while it's there. Okay.
Yeah, it's down to pretty much.
It's not that exciting anymore, huh?
No.
Yeah, steak and
What were you
do a nice job.
Well, marshmallows.
Marshmallows, yeah.
We thought about that.
Marshmallows be good.
Marshmallows be good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you start? Was it sort of a ceremonial fire? Was there a dancing involved or praying or?
No, it was utilitarian fire.
Oh, it was just keep us warm fire.
Isn't
there always praying when there's fire? I don't know.
A little bit.
There should be.
I was expecting a seance or something like they do out in West. You know, what do they? You know.
The fire gods were there.
Yeah.
When I saw when we were starting, and it was a big fire, right?
Well, because it has to be in order to achieve the better cold. It has to be. I mean, when I do a 40 by 60
inch above the swimming pool.
I don't even know how you get that off.
Two people. I have two assistants. I got two assistants.
Yeah.
Does he have any work here?
I'm watching, and when I say pull it, I have two guys.
Yeah.
That's a yes.
What are
Okay.
they holding the picture with that they don't?
It's they have
welding gloves. Welding gloves.
Yeah.
Right. And so a 40 by 60 inch painting is mounted to a sheet of plywood, which is almost a full sheet, a 4 by 8 sheet of plywood, which is very heavy. A 3/4 inch sheet of plywood is very heavy. So it has to be two guys.
I mean, they got it almost like a dance.
Yes.
It together.
And not only that, the fire has to be as big as the paper, as I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
It has to be at least this size.
Yeah.
So imagine what it's like working around a 40 by 60 inch massive blaze. So when we build that fire, it's 3 times the size of what was outside. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
And it burns down to a bed. And then we get into action.
Solar painting.
That's exactly right. Because what happens as the coal bed reduces, we break it into a smaller pile, and that enables us to keep on burning. So I can do 12 to 15 at a time. That's exactly how it works.
Yeah. But the thing that I find interesting, no wonder you feel like you're under so much pressure, because you really can't wait from when you do the material to the fire.
I can't wait very long.
So you can't like do it the day before and say, oh, I'm going to do it tomorrow.
Now, I could do a pre-painting.
Right.
Let's say a watercolor, like a wash sheet of paper with some colors, and let that dry, and then prepare that again for the burn session.
Right.
But that's really the only option. Other than that, there's not much you can do. It has to be now.
It's immediate.
Yeah, right. It's very immediate, very spontaneous.
You really are the essence of the journey.
Oh, okay.
As important as
the
destination.
They're equally important. And the pains are inseparable from the process, and the process is inseparable from the finished product.
Exactly.
But it is so much about the fire and the speed of the fire and the speed of the process.
Well, yeah, because the first one was done
in the moment, and that's such an the fire as well as the process.
Right.
Plus the materials that are used. Yeah, there are so many things.
Right.
So, I mean, and it's and it's
you did great.
It's always interesting to me because the paintings are always so
you never know.
And you never know.
You never know.
And that's part of it's like opening a gift as a kid at Christmas.
Yeah.
Or any time, a birthday, whatever. And because you don't know what's in there.
Right.
And until you get into it, that's when you find out. And so that's one of the exciting things.
At this point, after so many paintings, do you have some inkling now?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. I mean, for example, the first piece, as I mentioned, I haven't practiced that particular image, but I practiced that approach.
Right.
Because I know if I create a circle with water on a piece of paper and burn it, I'm going to get, unless I screw up, I'll get a white circle on a brown piece of paper. I know that. Without any doubt whatsoever. I know what the gunpowder, what effects the gunpowder will give me.
The more you know, the better you're going to get.
Absolutely. Same with the potassium nitrate. I know what that will do if I paint it on. I know what it will do if I burn it while it's still wet. I know what it will do if I let it dry first and then burn it. So yes.
Some inkling.
There's so many variables. That's why you could do this forever and keep experimenting, because there's so many
times
variables.
It's going to be different.
I prefer not to know.
Right.
honestly.
Yeah, right.
I mean, really, the best paintings, the best fire paintings, in my opinion, are the ones that I just throw myself in with abandon almost.
Yep.
And then see what
Fire.
happens, and then interpret it afterwards.
Yeah.
Those are really the best ones.
Yeah.
And they look like they're full of energy
Yeah.
and natural.
Well, they are.
You know?
Captured it.
They
That's
are.
the thing, is that you capture in this process, in this painting, the same thing that a photographer does, especially in that very first piece. You
Oh, the
get a
first one,
moment in
yeah.
time that will never be repeated
Right.
again.
Can't possibly be repeated.
Right. So you have captured
Yep.
that instant.
Well, the
that,
first
like,
one, you get the
know?
mantle outs, you know. the whole
That first
mantle,
one
the,
was magic.
you know, half dome and things like that,
Wow.
Yosemite, because that,
Yeah.
he did it in those colors. He
Right.
did it in the
Right.
sepia tone.
And they look very much, I mean, some of them
And they are.
do resemble sepia photographs.
Yeah, they do.
That one is
That
so
first
much-
one very much does.
Yep.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
Was Rebecca Clem here?
And they glow, they glow with the light.
And
It's
Rebecca-
just-
her name is on the list.
Wow.
Rebecca here?
I mean, it's like having a
there's
flashlight
something
right
from
against the
her
back of the
mirror.
paper
It's weird.
inside the frame, and the light's just coming right out.
It's on the list?
I love
Gee,
that.
you could even mount some of these on
Somebody
a light box or
leave?
something.
I've thought about that, actually.
Yeah.
I've thought about that. But it's complicated enough
Mustard
for
and-
for somebody
I
else.
don't know.
It's just
Anyone
complicated.
who
But
came
you don't
You
even
know what?
need it, there's so much
Carol,
light coming through.
To frame these paintings
I mean, I never
Everyone who
saw
showed
her,
up
is like a
so.
17-step process,
Rebecca
every one of them.
God.
Every one of them, and it's just, it's time consuming and exhausting and just,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
but I have to do it because if I don't present them properly,
Right.
then I'm not
Right.
fulfilling the potential of each
Or the
individual
process.
paint, no, absolutely. I have to go through it. I've been trying to find ways to cut corners, not cut corners, but make it faster, because it's
Are
so
you gonna be here
tedious.
through New Year's?
And
Well, it's the opposite of what you're doing.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. It's almost the polar opposite of what I do. Yeah, absolutely, exactly.
When's he going?
Exactly.
You go fast, then you go slow.
Right, but I have to
No, you know,
go
the
through the
flames
process
pack.
that I put this through for framing.
Every time I've
I
ever
just say, you know, this is food for the last hundreds of years.
Yeah,
Hundreds
they're
and hundreds of years.
packed.
Just like,
They're
I mean, the
packed.
paper I use
Yeah.
has been made by the same company in France since
They're going
1493.
home.
So, you know, there are Rembrandts that are made on this paper. There are Michelangelo's drawn on paper. I mean, you know,
You're kidding.
it's
No.
gonna last, as long as I treat it right.
That's okay, he deserves
Right.
So counterintuitive. That's the funny thing.
That's exactly right.
That's the funny thing.
People say that, well, why not do it on canvas?
Yeah.
I tried it on canvas, and canvas will not withstand
You want, I
the
mean,
process. It will always
you want this?
disintegrate. The paper, which has also been cut, since canvas, is the only thing that will handle this technique.
Those, okay.
Yeah, and
It's
here's the
amazing
other
stuff.
thing.
These are just
You're
whatever signed
creating
up,
with a
there's
medium that
Yeah, you want me to give you an envelope on those, Lidina?
So the fact
On
that you...
paper.
Yes, right. All of it.
Yep.
I mean, you got like a natural process of destruction that you're turning into a natural process of creation,
Yes.
which is...
This one right here is cool.
I'm pretty psyched. Needless to say, I'm pretty psyched.
Very out there.
You know, the history of art is what, 30,000 years?
That's a gorgeous.
And nobody's ever done this before, as far as any of us know.
I agree with you.
I mean,
And I've seen the guy you were talking about, the Asian guy who did
the
the
gunpowder.
gunpowder. I can't remember. I think I was in New
Collection
York.
of
I was
cards.
in New
He's
York.
shown in New York.
Yeah, and it was, I think it was at Duke.
See this
Oh, no doubt.
And
The
you
big
walk
pieces,
through
right?
big, huge
Yeah, these-
walls,
this is
and
the
they were
work up here?
terrible.
I have a lot of that.
Awful.
Okay.
Like awful.
And anybody can do that.
But I-
Although it's true,
but I
anybody
read
can do
about
it
the
too,
whole-
if you have the knowledge.
The whole gunpowder thing, but he can't hold a candle to what you're
Well,
doing.
thank you very much.
I'm not a candle.
I've seen his work, it's pretty,
Believe me, I thought it was a waste of space. I was
Pedestrian,
like,
maybe?
it actually was gross. It was almost like bodies that were looked almost dead. There was something
Like,
dead about it.
yeah.
Your stuff is alive.
It's totally alive, it
And
really is.
his stuff was huge and dead.
Thank you.
holiday!
Thank you so much for all your efforts and contributions and hard work.
So exciting
Thank
for
you.
everyone.
Thank you very much.
So exciting.
Thank you.
Okay, sweetie.
Enjoy the family
holidays.
Thank you very much. I'll talk to you
Sometime we'll get you out of the
Yeah.
kitchen.
Love you.
Oh,
Actually, I did pretty good today.
She
You
did
were
pretty
great. Oh my God.
Excellent, thank you.
There you go. All right,
Thanks
sweetie.
very much.
Oh, my pleasure.
I'll see-
Bye-bye.
I'm sure I'll see you again.
You will. Most
Happy holidays.
And I
Yeah,
bet
me too.
you, Margie,
I love the
when
fish.
does our
I got
come
one.
out? Thursdays?
Those are so.
I don't know.
They're great.
I think pictures gonna be on the cover of the
So
book.
cool.
Thursday or Sunday.
A lot of the tribal women are among us.
Speaking of unique and original, interesting,
Yeah.
very great stuff. I love his work. Really,
Like Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah, is it SH or SI?
It's S.
So you ladies have all been friends
Okay.
for...
Thank you.
Yeah,
Well,
this is newer to our
I'm newer.
She's a newer kid on the block.
Right.
It's really exciting. Yeah, I know. I think this is gonna
Yeah,
go
and you see-
really well. I think tonight was amazing.
Right, Canada's the state of the art.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want everyone to meet Mr. Peter Kephart, right?
Yes, sir.
And you are from out west.
Actually, I'm a Jersey boy originally. I lived in D.C. for 10 years between '93 and '03. And there was a little overlap there. I bought my farm in 2001. So now I am living west of D.C. in eastern West Virginia. I have a 40-acre farm in the headwaters of the Potomac River.
And what's the main road in which you would leave to, when you leave the D.C. area, what's the main road to?
Dulles Toll Road to Route 7, from Leesburg to Winchester, and then one exit on 81 North, and then back roads from there.
Okay, so back roads.
Yeah, so 45 minutes from Winchester, Virginia, to my place in West Virginia, and it's mostly back roads from there.
And what's the town, what's the general population of the area that you're in?
140.
140 people? 140,000?
140 people and 140,000 farm animals.
Okay.
It's all farming area, a lot of orchards, peaches, cherries, and apples especially. It's a pretty depressed area. West Virginia is down much of the time, or at least it's considered as being depressed, and my area certainly is. It's a really tiny town.
Why would you want to live there when you can live in a big city?
That's a good question. The peace and quiet, the back to nature, the freedom to do what I do, which is paint with fire, which of course you can't do in your backyard in Brooklyn or in Washington D.C. or in Philadelphia or anywhere else, because it requires building a bonfire in order to create these paintings. And so there are many reasons to be there. It's a beautiful property. Our neighbors are few and far between, so it's very peaceful. It's very private. I'm a diehard bass fisherman, so being on the Potomac is a big plus for me. I do a lot of kayaking, mostly kayaking these days. A lot of hiking. I enjoy the outdoors, so it's a good spot. It's a good place to be. And I'm within 2 hours and 15 minutes of D.C., 4 hours of Philadelphia, and 5 hours flat to the Holland Tunnel. So I'm fairly close to 3 major metropolitan areas on the East Coast, which tend to be 2 of those are my best markets, New York and Washington.
Let me ask you about the nightlife. Speaking of which, what the
nightlife in West Virginia?
Yes.
Let me tell you about the nightlife. It's dark and starry. And the sounds that you hear would be owls, coyote, crickets, tree frogs, and not much else.
That's hard to imagine because, growing up in downtown areas anywhere, any major metropolitan urban area, it's hard to imagine that someone would, want to spend their time there by choice. I mean, the settlers did it because they were discovering the country, but you have a choice.
Right.
So.
Right. And my wife and I actually chose this place. It spoke to us. There were 3 historic buildings on the land when we bought it. One of which was an 1840s general store and post office, which I subsequently dismantled, board by board, nail by nail, and rebuilt into a brand new home. So it's original, flooring, siding. The wainscoting is genuine 3-inch strip wainscoting. A lot of the wood that was used to build the structure was milled and harvested and milled in the area in Hampshire County. So the 3 historic buildings were part of the attraction. The 40 acres on the Potomac was definitely an attraction. The proximity to the East Coast major cities, certainly Mid-Atlantic and slightly north, was a big attraction. I was trying to get out of the business that I was in and get into the art business full time when I left D.C. in 2001. to go out to West Virginia and build my place.
So the business, and in the end, there's money involved in this because you've got to buy land, right? I mean, you've got to buy resources. You've got a car, so you've got to fill it with gas. You got to be able to move back and forth and transport yourself.
Absolutely.
Then when
and my work.
Right, and when you complete something, then either you or someone else has to be involved in the selling and the collecting of the money so that you can continue to do your thing. So how did you figure out all that stuff?
Before I quit corporate America to pursue my dream of full-time art career, I spent almost 9 years in sales, marketing, and advertising.
Ah, there you go. There we go.
I have somewhat of an advantage over many artists in that I have a fair amount of business background, which I think has gone a long way toward preparing me for this particular career. Because as you must know, selling fine art is very difficult in the best of times. And so the fact that I'm able to promote myself and that I'm able to effectively sell my work and to market it properly and to advertise properly, I'm sure has had a tremendous impact on my success.
Now, what is advertising for you now these days? Are you a Facebooker?
Oh, absolutely. Man, I'll tell you, let me tell you about that. That's a good question. Last year I had contracted with a printing company to make postcard invitations for a show that I was preparing for. And they botched the order, and we went back and forth trying to get things fixed, and it just dragged on and on and on, and it just became an ordeal. And so I finally pulled my order and said, I can't do this. I don't have the time. I don't have the interest. And so I decided to take the money that I would have spent on the postcards and invest it in Facebook advertising. And the reason I did that is because Facebook advertising, they allow you to use a photograph, whereas Google doesn't allow you to do that. At least not as far as I know. And so I decided to sink that $350 or $400 that I was going to spend on the postcards into a Facebook ad. And in 9 weeks, I drew over 900 hits to my website. In 9 weeks. I haven't had 900 hits on my website in 10 years. And so, not only that, not only did I have 900 hits on my website, but it was very cost effective because they only charge you for the clicks that go through directly to your website. So you're only paying for people to actually go to your site. And that's, why would I want to pay for anything else? And it was just a tremendous response. And so, now it didn't lead to any sales as far as I know. But, you know, one of the things about any industry, certainly the fine art business, is exposure. You have to get out there. You have to make people aware of you. Otherwise, you're nowhere.
That's true, but still, when you said, as far as you know, how do you attribute the success of that project directly to the end result, which is to sell?
I can't say that I can make that certain connection. I can't say that.
Did it just make you feel good that you were getting exposure?
Well, that's important. It's usually important to get the work out in front of people because otherwise I'm not expanding my audience. And even if I'm not selling directly because of the 900 hits on the website, there are 900 more people who have seen my work than there were before that campaign.
Okay. Did you get any testimonials or people that expressed any interest or provided feedback?
Many people have signed up on my email list, which is the only positive direct result from the Facebook ad campaign is that my email list has expanded significantly.
So you get to keep in touch with them?
Absolutely.
All right.
And then, they want to know when my next show is going to be in this or that area.
They want to know when they can get a free glass of wine at one of your events, and they want to know.
That's usually the draw, but not always, fortunately. And you know what? Free wine loosens the wallet.
That's what we believe.
I have no problem. No, I can tell you from experience.
Good, because we just want to make sure that we're going to expect to have wine wherever we go to any reception.
It helps.
Good. I'm glad to know that. I'm hoping that doesn't change.
It won't change. Why would it change?
Don't reinvent the wheel, right?
Especially now that I can get insurance for a special event, which covers the serving of alcohol by the host of the event. So why would I change that?
There you go.
In fact, I think next time I'll buy more.
Well, we all take comfort in knowing that certain traditions are not going to be disturbed. Thank you for that.
Right, absolutely.
Let's get to the style of the work, which is, again, reflection of your natural background or an interest in natural. Now, I want to ask you about the type of paint that you use. Is it water-based, oil-based, or? Always
water-based material. The concept is based on the knowledge that water and fire are mutually resistant to each other. That's what this process is all about. I use only water-based materials. all the materials that I use are chosen knowing that they will not contribute any acidity or other corrosive agents to the painting. The reason for that is because the paper I use is an acid-free, 100% cotton archival material. If I were to introduce any ingredient in the painting process to that paper that would add acidity or a corrosive element, then I cannot call these archival. And so I use water or water-based media. Some paintings are executed with just water and fire on paper. Some of them are executed with water, color, and fire.